Hey everybody, I'm DR Beard, aka Daphne Rose Beard. I am here to discuss my single life journey in hopes to help you maximize yours as a single sister or someone who loves us. Listen, today's video, I'm going to be discussing the 5 benefits of being single in 2020. Yes, the most inside out, upside down, crazy year of our life. Let's get into it. Number 5, you can work on the emotional you. We just went through the craziest emotional roller coaster, and many of us are still on that roller coaster, hoping to one day finally get off. My goodness, but we've been through so much losses and death and dying and fear, anxiety, depression, all sorts of emotions just ravaging through our bodies with the pandemic. So our emotional selves need time to process all that we just went through. We need time to really process the pain, the suffering, the death, the dying, all of those difficult emotions so we can better establish who we are in the world again. A lot of us lost who we are. So many people lost their careers, lost loved ones, which means a lot of people lost their roles, who they were to certain people, and that impacts who you are as an individual on this planet. And so you need time to process those emotions. One of the ways that I worked on my emotional self during my single journey while there is a pandemic happening was I stayed in contact with an emotional care specialist, a therapist, a counselor. She was so helpful. I can't even tell you how much she helped me to process what I was experiencing, what I was dealing with, and how I can establish better behaviors and patterns in the future, right? So I would encourage you, actually, I would implore you, please, ma'am, please, sir, it would behoove you to get someone who is skilled, who is a medical professional that specializes in emotional pain and how to deal with it so you can develop better skills for your future self and on this single life journey. So our emotions need a time out. They've been overworked and on overdrive for a number of months, sis. Like, take some time out, let your emotions get where they need to be so you can get back to a place of stability emotionally before you start trying to get to know someone or learn someone or start dating someone again. The 4th benefit of being single in 2020 is you can work on your financial self. Woo! Yes, child. I was working on my financial self before the pandemic, but during the pandemic, I started to really become more intentional about working on my financial self. I started reading books, I started going on podcasts, I started taking webinars, courses, searching YouTube, and those persons who specialize in financial wellness and understanding and have great deal of knowledge. And I gained so much information. Like, I can speak a little financial lingo now, y'all. Okay, so watch out. I might drop a word, I might drop an index fund or something on you, okay? But seriously, I learned so much about the stock market. I learned about the importance of having the right accounts and the right amount of money and the right amount of accounts at the right time and all these things. I've been on a journey to also saving up for my first home, which I will get into later on this channel. I got a lot of things going on, a lot of things to tell you guys about, but I'm going to take you through it every step of the process. So I started really looking into my financial self and the ways I can best save money and really develop those multiple streams of income that will allow me to be totally financially secure in the future. Because guess what? If my Boaz or if my husband man does not find me, ma'am is going to need to be financially secure. So I admonish you, single women on this single life journey for the time being, to make sure that you work on your financial self. Your future self will thank you later, boo. Like, seriously. The number 3 benefit of being single in 2020 is you can work on your physical self. That's what I did. All of high school, I ran track. All of middle school, I ran track. I could have gone to college on a scholarship. I chose not to go because I didn't want to be all the way in Albany. And so I made the decision to go to a school in my local area, and it just worked out better for me. And they had the major that I wanted. So it was like a win-win situation. But after track in middle school and in high school, I stayed in shape by staying in the gym. And for whatever reason, life just got in the way, school got in the way. I was in going back and forth to Manhattan to get my bachelor's degree. Then I was online finishing up my master's degree. And then I started my PhD program. And over the course of all of those years, it was a struggle to keep my physical self in check. So my weight was going up and down. I was like eating unhealthy. Then I would get on these spurts of, oh, I'm going to do green smoothies. Oh, okay, I'm going to do a cleanse. I'm going to start working out again. And it was like I was just never being consistent. However, ma'am, when you're in a global pandemic and you are literally confined to your home with nowhere to go, you have a lot of time to look in the mirror and say, okay, I need my six pack back, or at least a four pack. Okay. So I started working out again consistently. In working out, it was an incredible source of stress relief, as anyone and everyone who works out knows. But I'm telling you, when you are single in 2020, you have time to really work on the physical you. I started to make better foods. I started to steam my vegetables. I started to make more homemade foods. I was cooking like 4 times a week during the pandemic. I mean, it's all over my IG page. If you're not following me on IG, this is my shameless plug. Go follow me now. You'll see all the food content. But I started cooking so much and I realized I love cooking. It was like in me trying to get my body back the way I wanted it to look. I started eating healthier, I started making foods I really enjoyed, putting ingredients in that I knew were in there that would benefit me. It was amazing. It was like a win-win situation. So working on the physical you during your single journey will really, really benefit you. And the number 2 benefit of being single in 2020 is you can work on your intellectual self. You have nothing but time, space, and opportunity. So many businesses have closed, which is horrible, which means so many people were unemployed. I mean, everyone is on the same playing field at this point. So you can really take a moment for yourself, get into your mind, and figure out, what in the world do I really want to do? What is my purpose here on earth? Do you want to flip homes? Do you want to be a movie producer? Do you want to be a YouTuber? Do you want to invest in the stock market? This is the time where you can develop the intellectual you. Do you want to go back to school? I got back in school and I'm in a doctoral program now because it's been something I've always wanted to do. I wanted to learn more and I wanted to study more, but I never had the time. Now that it's 2020 and things are all over the place, I can intentionally focus on something that I have had in my heart to do for a long time. So I encourage you, single women, or the men who love us, or those married women who love us who are watching right now, I encourage you to take time to invest in the intellectual uses. Like, if you want to go back to school, now is the time to do it. Tuition is crazy low. Okay, tuition is extremely low. There are tons of scholarships out there. Schools and universities are looking for people to come back in. Or if maybe college isn't for you, try a trade school, try a BOCES program, try something, anything. There are so many free courses offered through different engines, and I'll link them below. That you can learn a skill, you can learn a craft, you can develop your own business and work for yourself. So the next time, God forbid, if something like 2020 and the pandemic happens again, you'll be prepared. You'll have your own money. Your business will be banging, banging, okay? And you won't have to worry about anyone being the CEO or anyone, your manager letting you go, or having to deal with unemployment and wait on those long drawn out calls and all that. You'll be your own boss. So it's extremely important that you make time to work on the intellectual self. Develop your mind. A mind, they say, is a terrible thing to waste. And it is also a terrible thing to set on mediocrity. There are so many things that you can do in this world. 2020 has shown us that. So take time to invest in your intellectual self, and I promise you, your future self will definitely thank you for it later. All right, the moment we've all been waiting for, the number 1 benefit I personally believe, and I personally have experienced in being single in 2020, is I had time to work on my personal relationship with God. I had so much time that I was praying so consistently. I was fasting, I was studying, I was taking time to really work out my soul's salvation, right? As the Bible says, with fear and trembling. I started to grow spiritually and I started to feel different within myself. It was like my spiritual self was encouraging and mending and making my emotional self stronger, right? And so that time that you haven't had to really do that study you wanted to do or really explore, is there a God? Because I know there's all people who want to know. There are people who question, there are people who ask questions. I'm all for questions, I'm all for conversations. I'm not about debates. I know what God's done in my life. I am evidence that God is real, and I'm not here to debate anybody, but I am telling you this, and I'm telling you this now. If you have the question in your mind, is God real? Can God do this? Is this all true? I encourage you, and I will encourage you in every video I post, regardless as to what topic I'm talking about, to go and research for yourself. Don't just listen to what someone else said or someone else's experience. Go and research, go and study, go and pray. Use the practices that people have used and see if they work for you. Okay? I had the time to work on my spiritual self, so much so that I began to realize the things that God put inside of me that were just laying dormant, that I didn't make time for, that I had put on the back burner because I was so distracted and consumed just by the things of life, by school, by relationships, by family, by events, by church, that I did not get to complete the things that God put in me to do. As for me in 2020, the number one benefit of being single was developing a closer relationship with God, where the source of my strength, energy, hope, faith, happiness, joy, love, where everything stems from, which enables me to go out and extend that love and extend that mercy and extend that faith to all of you. And as always, if you like what you see, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and make sure you turn on your post notifications so you can be alerted every time I post a video with similar content to this. Thank you guys, and shout out to all of my loyal subscribers, literally my day one. You guys are rocking with me. You're the best. Drop me a comment. Let me know something that stood out to you so we can develop that relationship with one another.